Pakistan-occupied Kashmir is at a critical point in its turbulent history. For more than 3 weeks, thousands of protesters have been demonstrating at the Eidgah ground in Rawalakot, demanding not just economic and governance reforms, but even hinting at a stronger engagement with India. The demonstrators said that Pakistan-occupied Kashmir is not part of Pakistan. Despite Army Chief Asim Munir's brutal crackdown, the defiant protesters and the local leaders have not backed down, and clamour for the region to be free from Pakistan's control has been growing. Our top focus today remains on how Islamabad is losing its grip. Hello and welcome to Inside South Asia. I'm Kripa. Let's get started. The relations between the South Asian neighbours, Pakistan and Afghanistan, have soured ever since the Taliban stormed back to power in Kabul in August 2021. The past few months have been particularly fierce, and over the past few days, tensions once again escalated between the former allies, with both sides launching attacks against each other. Our next report brings you the details of the latest chapter in this bloodied recent history.
In recent years, there has been a surge in militancy in regions bordering Afghanistan, but attacks in Pakistan's major cities have become increasingly rare. On the 27th of June, however, that illusion of safety lay shattered in the southern port city of Karachi. At least 3 personnel of Pakistan's paramilitary rangers were killed and several other security personnel were injured when a group of terrorists rammed their explosives-laden vehicle into the main gate of the paramilitary rangers building near the Gulistane-Johar area in Karachi. According to Pakistan's Inter-Services Public Relations, alert security personnel stationed at the entrance of the facility thwarted the brazen attack by first spotting the suspicious vehicle and then immediately engaging the attackers and killing all 5 terrorists.
We were sitting at home and drinking tea, etc. when we heard a loud explosion. The wooden staircase was right behind us. It moved from its place. I came to see my son. Usually children are playing, so I saw that the situation at the Rangers headquarters was bad. Such intense firing had started that I myself was scared. I found a child and took the child home. Then I came back here, and there were about 2 or 3 explosions inside, and then the Rangers also reached the spot. I have just heard that almost all of them have been killed.
In the aftermath of the attack, the Pakistani forces deployed special security units, counter-terrorism teams, and additional paramilitary rangers personnel to the site. According to the police sources, the attack was claimed by Jamaat-ul-Ahrar, a splinter terrorist group of Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. Islamabad, facing a rise in attacks on its security forces, has repeatedly accused the Taliban government of providing a safe haven to anti-Pakistan militant groups, a claim refuted by the Taliban. Couple of days after the Karachi attack, Pakistan's Information Minister Ataullah Tarar claimed that Pakistan's security forces killed at least 29 militants in ground and air operations along the Afghanistan border on Sunday night. 25 of these militants were killed in Pakistani airstrikes on 3 targets in the Afghan provinces of Paktia, Paktika and Kunar. Whereas 4 militants linked to the Jamaat-ul-Ahrar were killed in ground attacks in the Bajaur district of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. However, Kabul claimed that the Pakistani airstrikes had killed 38 civilians and injured 163 others, including women and children.
It was around 11:45 p.m. Everyone was asleep when the aircraft came and began attacking this house. Inside the house were children, women, men, and elderly people. All of them were asleep.
They bombed coast, killing innocent people, including children, women, and elderly civilians. In Kunar, as you witnessed, they killed children and women, murdered students, and even killed our cricket players. This is nothing new to us. For the past 50 years, Pakistan has been oppressing us.
Following Pakistan's overnight strikes in Afghanistan, United Nations spokesperson said that the Secretary General Antonio Guterres had called for an immediate cessation of hostilities and the protection of civilians.
The Secretary General is deeply concerned by the latest violence between Afghanistan and Pakistan, which resulted in civilian casualties. He called for an immediate cessation of hostilities and the protection of civilians. The Secretary General reiterates his call on the parties to resolve their differences through diplomacy.
Afghanistan retaliated on Tuesday by launching airstrikes on what it said was an ISIS center in the town of Saranan, in Pakistan's border province of Balochistan, as well as elsewhere in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province. Islamabad, on the other hand, countered by saying that its forces had intercepted and shot down 4 rudimentary drones in the southern resource-rich province of Balochistan. Since the escalation in hostilities last October, a lasting deal between the warring nations has proven to be elusive despite several rounds of talks. This recent escalation in hostilities seems to have worsened the relations and negated the positives of the Urumqi peace talks.
Beijing is steadily increasing its presence in South Asia's maritime region and its strengthening coordination and cooperation with Dhaka. It is an integral part of that expansion. Bangladeshi Prime Minister Tariq Rahman paid an official visit to China from 24th to 26th of June, during which new agreements were signed to boost Chinese investment and technical support in Bangladesh. Bangladesh has described this as practical and development-focused cooperation. However, countries in the region, especially India, are watching these developments with growing concern.
The Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Tariq Rahman, arrived in Beijing on the 24th of June for his first official foreign visit. The selection of Beijing for his first official foreign visit since assuming office in February this year signals how significant the Dhaka-Beijing relationship has become. The 3-day visit concluded with a series of agreements spanning ports, industrial zones, infrastructure and water management.
Excellency, it is my immense pleasure and privilege to be in your great country, China. China remains our most valued and trusted partner. We are deeply impressed how China made historic transformation under your able leadership in a short period. We consider the Chinese modernization is an example to follow. Bangladesh appreciates and supports your vision of building a community with a shared future and the series of global initiatives that you have put forward.
At the heart of it all is Beijing's deeper involvement in the modernization of 2 key seaports of Mongla and Chattogram. Both sides have agreed to advance the upgradation and expansion of the Mongla port, while also fast-tracking a Chinese-backed economic and industrial zone in Chattogram. During the visit, Rahman also signed a Memorandum of Understanding with the China Civil Engineering Construction Corporation to develop the China-Bangladesh Mongla Port Economic Zone located next to the country's second-largest seaport.
The two sides agreed to advance high-quality Belt and Road cooperation, align development strategies in greater depth, and steadily push forward major landmark projects such as ports and water resources to deliver tangible results. They will strengthen cooperation in trade, industrial and supply chains, expand collaboration in emerging sectors, including new energy, the digital economy, artificial intelligence, and information and communications.
More than a decade ago, India and Bangladesh had agreed to develop an Indian-backed economic zone near the Mongla port. However, that project never moved forward as planned, and the land originally earmarked for India has now been allotted to China. Ironically, India had once celebrated securing operational rights at a terminal at the Mongla port as a strategic breakthrough to counter China's growing influence in the Bay of Bengal. But with the latest agreements, Beijing is steadily consolidating its position in the same strategic spaces. Chattogram is Bangladesh's largest port, which handles the bulk of the country's container traffic and garment exports. It forms the main commercial lifeline of the economy, connecting South Asia with Southeast Asia and global shipping networks. On the other hand, the Mongla port is located near the Sundarbans in southwest Bangladesh. It is smaller in scale but strategically positioned close to major shipping lines, which provide crucial access to inland industrial and agricultural regions through Bangladesh's extensive river system. Another important outcome of the Beijing visit is renewed Chinese support for the Teesta River Comprehensive Management and Restoration Project. Prime Minister Tariq Rahman has pledged to implement the Teesta Barrage Master Plan at any cost, calling it essential for water security, agricultural stability and livelihood in northern Bangladesh. The Teesta Basin lies close to India's Siliguri corridor, the narrow chicken's neck that connects India's northeast with the rest of the country. From New Delhi's perspective, any external presence in such a sensitive geographic zone is naturally viewed with caution. In response, the Chinese Foreign Ministry has said that the project is purely development-focused, aligned with Bangladesh's national priorities and not directed against any third country.
The Teesta River Comprehensive Management and Restoration Project is an important livelihood project that the Bangladeshi side attaches great importance to. China is willing to provide support and assistance within its capacity. We would like to emphasize that China-Bangladesh cooperation is not targeted at any third party, nor is it subject to interference from any third-party factors.
With all this in view, what is clear is that China's presence in Bangladesh has not developed overnight. Since 2016, the Chinese investment has expanded steadily across transport, energy, manufacturing, and industrial infrastructure. Today, China stands as Bangladesh's largest trading partner and its biggest supplier of defense equipment. But across the Indo-Pacific, governments are paying closer attention to Beijing's growing network of infrastructure projects. An intelligence assessment in New Zealand has noted increasing China-linked military activity across several Pacific Island nations. So the bigger concern at the moment is not just how widespread this presence is, but how normal it is becoming. Through ports, railways, industrial corridors and water projects, Beijing is steadily embedding itself into the region's economic systems, where it is becoming harder to separate development from strategic influence.
India's northeast is prone to torrential rains that set off deadly landslides and flash floods, affecting millions of people every year, especially during the monsoon season. This year too, flash floods and landslides triggered by days of heavy rains in Arunachal Pradesh destroyed residential areas and disrupted connectivity in the Himalayan state. The impact was felt in neighboring Assam state as well, where villages were inundated with floodwaters, affecting the livelihoods of thousands of farmers. More in this report.
From the hills of Arunachal Pradesh to the plains of Assam, flash floods and massive landslides triggered by days of heavy rain has left a trail of destruction. All 28 districts of Arunachal Pradesh have been affected by severe weather, with K. Panyor, Lower Subansiri and Lower Siang enduring the heaviest devastation. In Yazali, a village in the flood-hit K. Panyor district, reportedly 20 houses were swept away. Flood survivor Atao Miju, whose sister went missing, appealed to authorities to help her as soon as possible.
My sister's son managed to get out safely on his own. He has passed class 12 and is young, therefore he survived the flood by getting himself to safety.
What about your sister?
She's still missing. I would like to request the rescue teams to try and recover her body as soon as possible.
Given the severity of the situation, rescue teams were racing against time to reach those stranded. One of the most challenging operations took place in the lower Dibang Valley. An Indian Air Force helicopter airlifted 4 people who had been marooned on a small island near Dambuk. Landslides blocked key roads, disrupting connectivity across several districts of the Himalayan state.
We were stuck in the middle, so we had nothing to eat for 2 days.
Does this happen every year?
We have seen something like this for the first time after years.
The situation in neighboring Assam state isn't any better. Days of incessant rain in the upper reaches of Arunachal Pradesh sent large volumes of water downstream, causing rivers to overflow across several districts. Across Assam, flooding has been reported in Chirang, Dhemaji, Dibrugarh, Lakhimpur and Nalbari districts. Dhemaji remains the worst affected area, with more than 41,000 people impacted there alone. Incessant rains have also taken a toll on infrastructure. A railway bridge over the Simen River in Dhemaji partially collapsed after water levels surged, disrupting transport and making relief efforts even more challenging. Disaster response teams remain deployed while authorities continue to work to restore roads, bridges and other essential services. On the 1st of July, Union Minister of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare Shivraj Singh Chauhan conducted an aerial survey of flood-hit regions in the country's northeast and promised relief for victims.
We are currently in Pasigat and have witnessed the damage here. It is extensive. Household belongings have been ruined. Many houses have been washed away and crops in the fields have been destroyed. Much of our infrastructure, be it roads or bridges, has been demolished. The state and central governments will work together to provide full support to all the brothers and sisters affected by the floods and help them overcome this crisis.
Though floods and landslides triggered by heavy rains is not uncommon in northeast India, ironically the region had experienced below average rainfall during the early phase of the monsoon. But a few days of incessant rain was enough to wreak havoc, overwhelming the river systems originating in the eastern Himalayas, leaving thousands to deal with the aftermath. The monsoon has also been disrupting life on India's western coast. In Mumbai, though heavy showers brought relief from the intense heat wave, they have also left several streets waterlogged, with traffic moving at a snail's pace. In a tragic incident, an 11-year-old boy lost his life and 4 other children were injured after a tree fell on a school bus. The IMD has issued an orange alert for Mumbai, warning of more heavy rain, thunderstorms and gusty winds over the coming days. As the monsoon gathers strength across the country, authorities remain on alert, with many regions preparing for more rain and the challenges it could bring.
On the 29th of June, farmers in Nepal celebrated National Paddy Day, also known as Ropai Divas or Asar 15. A vibrant annual festival, National Paddy Day marks the official beginning of the rice planting season. Celebrated on the 15th day of the month of Asar, which typically falls in late June, but this year this festival was shadowed by climate fears driven by the El Nino phenomenon.
At the beginning of this week, farmers in Nepal celebrated the annual paddy planting festival. As buffaloes and oxen plowed the fields, both men and women were seen hard at work, transplanting rice seedlings before taking part in the traditional games. Dressed in traditional attire and smeared in mud, they played tug-of-war, splashed mud on each other and danced in merriment. But it's not all fun and games this monsoon season. It is to be noted that global forecasters have predicted that a strong El Nino weather pattern is increasingly likely to develop over the second half of the year, boosting temperatures, disrupting rainfall, and posing risks to crops the world over. In Sindhuli district, amid concerns over the impact of El Nino, authorities have introduced measures to support farmers, including the distribution of mortars and pipes.
We are aware of the changing environmental conditions and the possibility of inadequate rainfall. keeping in mind the water requirements for agriculture, winter crops, unseasonal crops, and even the risk of drought during the monsoon, we have taken steps to ensure a steady water supply. As part of these efforts, we are distributing irrigation equipment worth 1 crore rupees, including motors and pipes, to farmers. We started dispatching it to the farmers just 2 days ago.
Noteworthy is the fact that 80% of Nepal's population of 28 million people as of 2023 relied on agriculture to make a living. Striking a note of caution, the Department of Hydrology and Meteorology issued a warning that Nepal is set to receive below average rainfall this monsoon season, complicating the situation for paddy farmers further. However, the grim forecast hasn't dampened the spirits at the historic Patan Darbar Square in Lalitpur, where dozens of Nepal's LGBTIQ community members gathered to celebrate the annual National Rice Plantation Day. Marking the start of the planting season, men dressed in women's clothing celebrated with music, dance, and a symbolic paddy plantation.
Unique thing about this festival is men wear feminine attire and they become the planter, rice planter. We call them ropar, which is traditionally given to the women role. Then also the women wear up masculine attire.
An integral part of the Nepali culture, the festival is celebrated by people from different communities and, in the opinion of many, needs to be promoted a whole lot more.
Pride Parade feels more like a Western cultural event, but this one rice planting is part of our Nepali culture and is celebrated by people from all different communities. Even in our home district of Dang, from today onwards, people go to the fields, and it is believed that everyone should get into the mud on this particular day. This festival is also very important for the LGBTQ community.
With the contribution of rice being about 7% of Nepal's GDP, the significance of the paddy planting festival cannot be overestimated. Additionally, the festival in recent years has grown in popularity among tourists, thereby forming a significant part of agro-tourism.
And to end this week's episode on a positive note, here's some good news for Indians. The Ministry of Railways has said that India is finally on track to open a section of its long-delayed first high-speed bullet train line in 2027, linking the cities of Surat and Vapi almost a decade after work began on the mega project. It is to be noted that the first 508-kilometer line is being built along the country's west coast as part of the Mumbai-Ahmedabad high-speed rail corridor. Take a look. I'm Kripa, and we will see you next week.